Hi, I'm Callan, or at Evil Hannah Montana on TikTok, where I make history memes. Totally okay if you don't know me from there, though. Today I'm going to be talking about how to write a history paper. Once you are assigned or have chosen a topic, you move into research. When you go to begin your research, you really want to work smart, not hard. How I started all of my history essays were for whatever topic I had, I would try to find a PhD dissertation on that subject. I found them through using my school's library reference list, but there's also JSTOR, which is publicly available. Any way you have access to academic text should work. So you know your topic, you found a PhD dissertation on it. What I want you to do is scroll all the way down to their citations. I recommend going through the citations and looking for primary sources and secondary sources that you need for your paper. Because it's a PhD dissertation, these are all going to be credible academic sources. And if it's well done, you're going to have almost all of the primary sources you could possibly need. Instead of spending hours on your own trying to find the right government documents or whatever, you'll have a handy list of them right here. So what I do is I grab my highlighter and then I go through their citations and look for anything that I think might be relevant to my paper. Once you've gone through your works cited and highlighted everything that you think would be relevant, you're going to want to go on your library website or what have you and find those sources. I personally recommend trying to download them or creating a bookmark folder in your browser so you have the direct link to each one and you know exactly where it is, so you don't have to go searching for it a million times. Obviously, then you actually have to read all of the sources. I also recommend doing your research early as you can, just because sometimes books you want won't be directly available in your library, and if you have like an inter-consortium library loan, you can get those books from other places. You don't want to get like 2 nights before the paper's due and be like, the book won't get here in time. I'm not saying you have to do all of your assignments early, but I really recommend at least going through the works cited and finding sources that you want to use and trying to make sure that anything you might want will be able to get to you on time so that you can use it in your paper. While you're doing your research, you're looking for quotes of things you would want to incorporate. If you're someone who already highlights while you're doing your reading, I have a tendency to over-highlight. Happens to the best of us. I recommend getting a pen and underlining the quotes in each article that you think might end up making it into your final paper. That way you have a visual aid, know which quotes you want. I recommend reading it through once, and then if there was any quotes or anything that you think is going to be important, try to go back then and underline the key ones. While you're researching, you're also going to want to start your outline. Any quotes you find in your research that you're like, this is so good, this has to go on my paper. Try to make it easier on yourself and take that quote and put it right into your outline. It does okay if your outline isn't fully complete yet. Outlines are flexible, they can be changed. It's so much easier to just have it pulled already than having to take the time to try to go back and find it. Once your research is done, you can really focus on your outline. I do my outlines by breaking them up into topic headings or paragraph headings, and then putting the quotes that I want to use for that paragraph or that topic underneath it. And so crucial, so crucial. Do your citations during your outline. I made the mistake so many times of being like, oh, I'll just do the citations at the end and it'll be quick and easy. It wasn't. It was terrible. It's such a nightmare when you're finally done your paper and then trying to find all of those citations and the page number and all of that. If you pull a quote and put it in your outline, do your citations then. You will thank me, I promise. This is an outline I did for a paper, and as you can see, it says body paragraph 3. This was discussing books about World War I. And then I have Eric Maria Remarque, who wrote All Quiet on the Western Front, and then under that I have the quotes that I pulled from that book. You're like, okay, I've done my outline, I've done the research, I'm ready to write. Write your intro and outro last, because honestly you haven't written your paper yet. You have a good idea, but you're not exactly sure how the paper is going to play out. It's so much easier to go back at the end and introduce your writing than to try to introduce it and then do the writing. I recommend starting with first body paragraph. You weave your historical analysis in with the quotes that you've pulled. Hopefully in your outline you've grouped your quotes by the topic you want to discuss in each paragraph. I find that it's so much quicker and so much faster if I already have those quotes and to just weave my thinking through them. Last but not least, proofreading. I hated proofreading. I hate reading my own work. It's really hard. I'm also bad at proofreading. If you want to proofread yourself, print your paper out. It's so much easier to proofread on paper than it is on the computer. Also, there are online free proofreading services. Really was a lifesaver for me. The last thing I wanted to do after writing a super long paper was to reread it, but sometimes I didn't give myself enough time to have a day in between. Really suggest doing that. That'll make your paper way better, but we're all college students. It's not like that's what I did every time. I would use paperrater.com, I think. That is an online proofreading service. It still might not be perfect. I still recommend doing it yourself, but if you are someone who's just like, I'd rather just send it and not proofread it at all, I really recommend online proofreading services, because then you'll know you've caught at least the most glaring thing. Yeah, so that's how I went about writing a history paper. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or tips and tricks that worked for you. I'd love to know them. Follow me on TikTok at Evil Hannah Montana. Follow me on Instagram at Callan Shay. Subscribe if you liked it. Thanks. Bye.